Hey folks, Jake Renner here with Curated.
Hayden Wright here with Curated as well.
Today we had the opportunity to test out the Line Blade 95s versus the Elan Ripstick 96s. Hayden, which categories did we judge these skis in?
So we break them down into three: carving, freeride, and freestyle. And today we had 6 to 8 inches of windblown, pocketed pow snow conditions. So it was a challenging day for these skinnier all-mountain skis.
Yeah, that to say the least. And just so you know, we're currently unsponsored, unaffiliated, and unassociated with any of these brands.
So basically you're just getting our total unbiased opinion, just two dudes out having fun on some skis.
Let's get it.
The Elan Ripstick 96s are 96 underfoot, 136 tip, and 110 millimeter tail. A really unique amphibio design, giving it a left and a right ski. They're a full tube light wood carbon core ski. It makes for a really light ski.
The Line Blade 95 has unique gas pedal metal design that focuses Titano metal throughout the ski. It helps reinforce torsional rigidity. It just really helps that ski maintain an edge. Aspen wood core provides pop while also being damp underfoot. These skis are 95 millimeter underfoot, 176 millimeter length, 5 cut radius. So they have multiple different turn radiuses throughout the ski that you can kind of lock into at any point.
Carving, wow. Every ski can carve different if you haven't had the opportunity to ride different types of skis. So one of the best parts about doing the head-to-heads is step one, taking it to the carving test.
And so as far as skis go, I'd place these two in the all-mountain carver category. The Line Blades kind of lean a little bit more into the freestyle realm. But with that in mind, how do they carve? Haydo?
Well, the Line Blades, they get the name, blades, because somebody at Line designed these and they cut up all over the mountain. We had so much fun putting the gas pedal metal design Line's been talking about. You really feel it when you initiate that carve. The ski, you feel the whole length of the ski, you feel that edge, it's consistent, it's predictable, and it was just a blast. Something really interesting though about the Elan Ripsticks is they actually come with a right and a left ski, and that's not common. Jake, I've never rode a left and a right ski before.
Yeah, this was probably one of my first times with a left and right ski as well, at least with it written right on the ski itself.
Make it easy for you.
And I'm not sure exactly if it's the design itself or if the edges were just not up to par with the Line Blades, but it felt like the Elan Ripstick 96 could not grip and rip and hold that edge as well as the Line Blade, and that could also be due to the lack of metal in the core on the Elan Ripstick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the lack of metal is pretty crucial, and the Elan Ripsticks were just, I wouldn't say very chattery, but if you were to initiate a good stop at a high speed, you're gonna get quite a bit more chatter than we were noticing on the Line Blades today. So in my opinion, carving category goes to the Line Blades. What about you?
Yeah, the Line Blades, they have a unique turn radius. So there's multiple different radius that you can kind of lock into. And Hayden was touching on, he was like, hey man, why don't you try carving like the whole trail from tree to tree? And I'm like, okay, but I want to go a little faster and try to go tight. Will it still carve tight turns? Of course. So you can kind of lock the Line Blade into like a long turn radius, a short turn radius, or somewhere right in the middle, and it won't feel like it's trying to push you one way or another. And that's why I'm gonna go with the Line Blade. Freestyle.
So yeah, the second category, we hit it with carving first, get a real good feel for the ski, then we get to take it to the freestyle category.
Yeah, and just right off the bat, I would not recommend taking either of these off large jumps, especially if you have a flat landing. They're not the most forgiving skis. Hayden, could you speak to that?
Yeah, we both found the flats a few times. Get a little excited, 6 to 8 inch pow day, you know, you think, you're thinking you're invincible, but these skis are definitely more oriented for keeping them on the ground, you know, surfing around the mountain. But that said, if you're keeping it, you know, toned down and not getting too wild, I think they can hold their own. It's not like a groomer-only racer ski by any means, but Jake got loose on them too.
Yeah, with regard to freestyle, I mean, neither of these skis are really a freestyle ski. So with regard to that category, I mean, the line blade just have this freestyle edge to them. They have a softer, more well-balanced flex throughout the ski. So with regard to buttering, they're a little bit more conducive to buttering. Switch skiing as well, they have a little bit more tail rocker. So both skis, skiing switch, you're a little bit hesitant to go into any ungroomed terrain or hit like any features switch on them. With regard to freestyle, I gotta give it to the blade as well.
The Elans were fun, they were hard carving, not quite as, you know, the kind of carving that we liked with the blades, but freestyle as well, you know, it's gonna be the blades.
Freeride?
Freeride, baby.
All right, so we've got the line blade versus the Elan Ripstick in the Freeride category. What are we looking at here? We're looking at float. We're looking at, you know, general all mountain playfulness. How will these hold up in all mountain terrain, not just on groomers, not just in powder, not just in the terrain park. How do they do all over?
Yeah, Jake hit it on the head there. The Freeride category has a lot of aspects. One of the biggest differences between the line blade and the Elan Ripsticks in the Freeride category that jumped out to me was the line blades being only 95 millimeters underfoot. They seem to get edge to edge a little quicker and connect your turns, and it was just more flowy. So, you know, maybe it was just a little skinnier ski. The Ripsticks though, you know, they're really light. We got into some tight trees. If you had to make a quick decision, you know, that light ski was there for you.
Yeah, you know, the Ripstick has a really light swing weight, so if you're an older skier, maybe not looking for that hard charging speed demon of like a damp
Full metal
mofo like of a ski, like then you'd go with the Ripstick because you can maneuver in the trees, you can kind of get in and out of this terrain, that terrain. But Freeride, I mean, the shoveled tips on the line blades.
Mondo.
Yeah, they're Mondo, so it's like you can get away with keeping those tips up out of some fresh snow. They don't have that, they do have a little bit of early rise, but not like a crazy amount. So with regard to how both of these do in the powder and what their float is like, they're pretty similar. I'd say they're pretty similar. I did have a little bit of a sketchy moment on the blades when I locked into like a tighter radius carve and just hit a patch of fresh snow and almost ate it. So that was fun, but a little bit scary. Freeride, man, that's tough. That's tough.
It was.
I guess if I had to choose, you know, just off the bat, all around, which one of these skis would I prefer? It would be the line blade.
Yeah. Back to the Freeride, I think, you know, it might have been because it was the end of the day, but the lightweight really kind of, you know, made me lean towards Freeride, the Ripsticks. But then if we were picking these two up to go pick and, you know, ski that day, the line blades, man, when I saw them on the paper to test, I was pretty excited.
Heck yeah, man.
So our final conclusion, if you're, you know, an older skier looking for a good hard charging resort ski and you're not afraid of a 96 millimeter underfoot, I would go with the Elan Ripsticks. But for somebody who's maybe a little younger, hard charging, the line blades, they're gonna take it from me.
So between the Elan Ripstick 96 and the Line Blade 95, I'm gonna have to go with the Line Blade 95 just because of how well it holds that edge and how well it performs in the ungroomed terrain.
So as you guys can see, you know, skis are built for different types of riders, and if for some reason you aren't comfortable or you don't know what type of ski might fit your riding style, click one of the links below. You'll talk with Jake, myself, or any of the great experts over at Curated.
If you like what you see, hit subscribe below. Please feel free to leave a comment. Which skis would you like to see us test head-to-head next?